was looking at accommodation last night for the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how much of this?
I've no idea.
So just a room on a ship, basically.
A one-person room on a ship.
A twin.
Like 500 quid or that, something? More than
2,800
that. You joking?
a night.
You are absolutely kidding.
So I've got one meeting with the New York founder. We've got another meeting with Amazon. Then Microsoft coming in, so have a bit of a chat about everything they're doing. And then, yeah, as I say, go out for a couple of drinks just to welcome Melissa to the team a bit more, get to know her.
This is what I'm more interested in. This is where I'm going to obviously put our metrics and targets.
Yep.
And
it's a good way to track it.
Obviously, yeah, just to track. And this one in particular for Instagram, for YouTube, for TikTok. I think I just need to understand the stats and stuff on LinkedIn.
If you go back to that first sheet, the sort of deck that you're putting together. This one, first of all, just needs to be, I'd just make it about Berlin and New York are the new hubs. Cool. The other part is then once we've got them as part of the community, so our community as a whole, how do we really engage them? So up in engagement of social and the newsletter and whatever else, engagement.
So obviously, those are the business goals.
Yep.
And then the goals for social media, which is awareness, engagement, conversions.
Well, it's kind of this, isn't it, I guess, in a way.
It's just, that's the way I like to kind of visualize and organize things. And then the metrics, obviously, what I would convert is like if we're increasing the number of likes, comments, was how I'll be able to tell that we're
makes sense.
progressing.
All good, thank you, all good. And it's nice to speak to someone a bit closer time zone wise. And I'm sure you're wondering, the way we work commercially is for founders, we don't and won't ever charge them a penny. I think that would kind of go against what we're trying to achieve here. But actually what we do is we work with partners to sponsor the program. So our partners being Microsoft, Snapchat, Oracle, companies like that, who effectively want to get their brand name in front of that audience as well. Good. Okay. Well, if you're attending both, if you've got the breakfast and the interview, it's a good chance to really get your story across, but then also sort of just share challenges and things around the table as well over the breakfast. So you've been thrown into the network at that point if you're doing both. So we're glad to have you. See you then. Bye now. Will, did you see the Burnley result last night?
Yeah. I was watching the Chelsea game. And I checked it at half time and saw Everton were 2-1 up.
They're getting relegated.
That's what we say.
Say, James's prediction are Leeds and Watford survive. Everton are doomed with Burnley and Norwich. I was looking at accommodation last night for the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how much of this?
I've no idea.
So just a room on a ship, basically.
A one-person room on a ship.
A twin.
Like 500 quid or that, something? More than
2,800
You joking?
a night.
You are absolutely kidding.
Giuseppe, sending you a video of you working. It was my phone. You caught me looking at the view. We're up on the top floor of our office today. How are you anyway? So did you get a chance to check out our documentary? I think that'd be of real interest to you as well. I'll shoot you over the trailer so you can take a look at that. But I think just personally, I think that'll be a real interest to you. But effectively what we did was we took 15 of the founders from our network who were literally trying to change the world or their industry. We'll have to get you along to a few more of the sessions, and as I say, get you in person as well. If that's an interest of yours, we'd love to have you. This feels like a big week though.
Yeah.
Just with this interview we're about to do later today, followed by Snapchat tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then I go away. I'm off. I go away straight after the breakfast tomorrow. I'm off till Wednesday.
That's
So
one of the
I'm
struggles.
pushing everyone to do more in-person meetings because one, I think it's better for the business generally, but two, it'll be better for this to get more. So like when Bowlers and when Liam's like whatever, like it's just
Mate,
more interesting.
I think
right?
in-person meetings is definitely going to improve the series by a whole lot.
Yeah. So when Rose is back on Monday, that's one of the things I'm going to really push on is let's get more of them coming in.
Any in-person meeting, but at least I can get some of the team to have more personality.
Yeah.
Like I love when George is having personality on the show. I love when Will's having something
And then
to
way
say.
better when they forget the cameras there.
That's the
I
thing.
like you can tell when Georgia was chatting to Mel upstairs. She clearly forgot about it.
Yeah.
The other thing I need to understand is I text conversation last night is what creates more work for you. So like
Yeah.
I might have a very different perception just because I don't understand it
Yeah,
yet.
no mate, like my point yesterday was more about, you know, the interviews, they're very similar to the podcast. So my question to you is more like, what differences do you see
we have
in
like
this and the podcast?
our two like streams that we have are TFM meets where it's like just casual conversation but the sound needs to be on point. And then but the podcast is like very polished, it's gonna have an intro, it's gonna be a full thing. Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Just happy by the way.
Nice to meet you, Tina. Hi.
you. Good to
I'm
see you.
good. How are you?
Good. Got our little lounge set up. We did have a full meeting room. We're like
Oh, this is lovely.
a little more relaxed.
This is lovely.
And Mel who's going to come in started at the beginning of this week. So we're trying to get her involved as much as possible. So
Awesome.
she may sit in if that's okay.
In the Microsoft advertising business, we have listening posts with clients in different areas, different level of customer, and we take that back, and it informs our strategy, it informs our product evolution, it informs everything, and so it's really key to us that we get that voice of the customer. The missing middle, coined by myself. So if you think about the simplest version of a marketing funnel, you have the sort of short-term demand, performance marketing at the bottom, and then long-term brand building at the top. When a business becomes under pressure, many businesses focus on that short-term revenue. They need to keep the turnover going, but there's a huge risk that they are actually not sustaining their business enough because they're not focusing on that longer-term opportunity as well. But what's really interesting is a consumer doesn't think like that. A consumer doesn't consider a brand based on the short-term marketing and the long-term marketing. And what we have coined as this missing middle, which is actually where it's this huge swathe of space where a lot of that mental availability, that intent to buy happens, and that's actually the bridge between the short term and the long term.
I did as well.
Yeah. Hi. Hello. Hi. How are you doing? Guys.
I would swap the text out, so put we've launched it in and then put New York in white and Berlin in white. Swap them around, just maybe try that, see if that's what they feel.
Staying behind to work.
Right, see you guys. See you, mate.
Bye, take care.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you doing?
New venue. Yeah, we're good. First time using this venue. It's our first in-person event with Snapchat. So we've got 13 or 14 scaling founders coming to chat about how they can use Snapchat and digital marketing generally, but also to get a bit into augmented reality, which is new to a lot of people, including myself. So I think One thing I struggle with a little bit, and I think a lot of founders do, is just switching off. Like, I don't feel like I've been very present at home over the past few weeks, just with everything going on with TFN. So it'd be good to go and try switch off the phone a little bit, but I'll probably set the time I check it and limit the time I spend on it. Mel will let me know if not.
I'm about to kill him, that's a casualty. Sci-fi in Manila like I'm Ali. I'm a bad man, jumping in New Denali. I like to mix it up, you know, like I was Cali. We the bitch. Real good. I really like it.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, yes, I like it.
Yes, I like it.
It's really sweet, huh? It's really.
So thank you all for joining us this morning. I think it's important from what we've heard from our network that we really dive into marketing more broadly, but specifically digital marketing, paid media, AR, which I think is going to be new to a lot of us or something that we're still exploring. So today, as you can imagine, all things Snapchat. We're lucky to be joined by the Snap team today. So we've got Ruth here, we've got Simon, and we've got Tom. Just down the side, who I'm sure will be happy to answer any and all questions that we have.
One of the things that I always say to brands is that a lot of people have mentioned Instagram stories, and the most common route to start advertising on Snap is by taking the creative that you've ran on Instagram stories, slapping it on Snap and hoping that it works. And more often than not, it doesn't work. And that's because they are two fundamentally different platforms, and it goes back to who's on there, the way in which you're talking to people. So there's no hard and fast rule, but the most common conversation I have with creative teams is try and build native to Snap. So don't think about building something that's completely polished.
So in exactly the same way you would use video or you would use static images, that's the way you've got to think of AR. So a brief would be the same way you would brief for any campaign. And AR really can deliver throughout the funnel now.
I feel like we could have gone on for another couple of hours. So the good news is we do have another session later in the year, so we'll let you know when that's locked in. But now, just thank you massively to the two of you for sharing with us. So